now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support at sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, Stitcher, Deezer, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with a wonderful gentleman who came from Italy, now living in Los Angeles. He's an actor, director, and he's a soon-to-be powerful studio owner, and he's got Legend of a Hitman and quite a number of works, and he also has his own entertainment studio section. We'll talk more about that, and how he got his vision, and he also did a number of things on the side, which we did work together, and of course we'll squeeze that in, and of course what makes this guy very special, very unique, and live, ladies and gentlemen, here from sunny Los Angeles, the very super multi-talented Alex Milani. Alex, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
It is my pleasure, Mr. Wagner. How are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great. So you've been an actor, director, and you also have your own studio company called Hitman Entertainment Studios, and you also have a movie coming out called Legend of a Hitman. You also got some others in the works, and I guess you kind of wonder yourself what makes you unique, what makes you special. And before we get into all that, tell us how exactly you got started.
So, great. So this is how I got started. I was at the age of 17. I was actually in my junior year in high school. I was actually flunking one of my electives class, I should say. And unfortunately, you have the mother and the father come in. Parents usually worry about their kids. Oh, my goodness, you're going to fail school, da-da-da-da. So the only class that was available was theater. And so pretty much I was kind of thrown into that. So going my first day to a theater class, I met my performing arts teacher, and I just was like, okay, this is theater. There's probably going to be boring stuff to do. I don't want to do this. So I'm just going to practically ruin everything, whatever. So it came down to where pretty much I was given a script. This is what you're going to do, and let's see how you're going to do it. And if this isn't for you, then we're going to pretty much, contact the principal back and contact their folks. So I'm like, okay, what's the worst case scenario? I'll just burn this and practically be done with it. So, when you're like, I want to get out of this class, you're like, I want to get out of this class and I want to just be done with it. So, we had a play called Valkyrie. I'm sure you've seen a film by Tom Cruise.
Yes, that was a great film, Valkyrie. And
it was a great film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think they had the music behind it too. And I think it was about Colonel von Steffenberg or something like that, or was it Lautenberg? Who was that? I forget.
It was actually Colonel von Stauffenberg.
That's what I thought. Okay.
So my performing arts teacher told me at the time, he's like, okay, you know what? I want you to play this Colonel von Stauffenberg. I want you to learn the script. I want you to do it. I need you to do it because this is where you're at, and let's see how it happens. So I'm practically just come home from school, blah, 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 blah. No practice, no rehearsal. I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to go in tomorrow and ruin this play and whatever. I read a couple lines, and so we're having a theater play, Valkyrie, based on the true story. So I'm dressed as the colonel, wearing all this Nazi uniform, all that kind of stuff. And I for some reason, it just kind of snaps out of me like I become a different person. So I'm like, okay, wait for it, 3, 2, 1. The theater play's over. Everybody's got to throw tomatoes. And I'm like, okay, this is not the reaction that I wanted. I was like, okay, so I'm stuck in this class. So what ended up happening is, after the theater play, my performing arts teacher told me, you ever consider doing this professionally?
Oh.
And so something just kind of stuck with me. You know, I start coming in more and more. I started to be interested more in theater, more in film. And to me, it was important that when I was being mentored by my performing arts teacher, I said, listen, I don't want to be famous. I don't want to do this for the money. If I want to do something, I want to be known for something greater than what's out there, but do it original, no imitation, no fabrication, and no limitation.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, as the high school, I graduated from high school. I'm so passionate film. I just learn. I work on different projects. I worked on some projects that I didn't want to work with other directors. You know, and I just went all over the place. You know what? I'm just going to work with every project except every goal that I need to accomplish. I was in a situation where directors were practically, you know, hey, one guy doesn't show up, this guy doesn't show up. So I just kind of stepped in, let's try it this way, let's try it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd write a script and say, what do you think of this? And people would just like kind of be like, wow, this is great. Who wrote this? I was like, I did. You actually like this? And he goes, Alex, you don't give yourself credit. Why don't you ever give yourself credit? It's like, just it's for me. It's when it's actually really I reached to the top when I've made it, you know. So to me, it's not about bragging, I guess. To me, it was mostly like I wanted to be somebody, you know, because coming to America was hard. It was difficult. You know, you're learning a language and you're trying to achieve the ultimate dream. But I was looking into a lot of stuff like, God, I just don't want to do this stuff as far as being famous. Fame is just an illusion. I don't want to be like, you know, get these actors that they think they can act, because in reality, acting is a tone. You got to be the master of it. You've got to have emotions, expressions. And I said to myself, wait a minute, I went to Hollywood now. I'm here. Okay, I'm doing this. I'm working with big top producers. And all they just go take, it's just a number. And a lot of these actors that come in, they don't understand. It's not what you can get from Hollywood or from a director. It's what you can give the director in the studios.
Mm-hmm.
So I finally started coming up. You know what? I got to come up with my production company. Of course, you know, your family. Oh my God, you know, it's so expensive. Everybody fails. Like, well, I'm not going to fail, and I'm not here to be famous. So I came up with the name Hitman Entertainment Studios.
Hitman.
And I was just random luck. I was just kind of just sitting there, and I'm like, okay, you know what? This is going to work. Let's just go with this. Because my demeanor and my, how do you say, just the style of my filming techniques, it's very stressful and suspenseful. So you're very kind of, how do you say, it's kind of like, oh my God.
And
you know?
you're on the edge of your seat practically, which I am right now. It's just like, you know, what's next? What's next?
Right, exactly. So to me, when I started working on the project Legend of a Hitman, long story short there, you know, I was at the verge where I was like, oh my goodness, I need to write a soundtrack. Mm-hmm. And I was mostly a visual person because I know a lot of directors, they first film stuff, but I was doing sketches, I was drawing storyboards, and I put this out on Craigslist looking for a composer. I need to compose about 23 tracks for a film, Legend of a Hitman. Here's what it's all about. And I'll tell you honestly, out of the blue, I was ready to just, okay, you know what, delete the ad, and there's a wonderful, brilliant musician from Sweden.
Oh, really? Who is that?
And I'm going to get to that. His name was Jonas Hornquist.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. You probably want to charge me a lot of money, blah, 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 blah. I says, okay, give me a track, give me a description. I said, but you know, I'm a visual director. I like to draw stuff. I'm not going to first film the stuff. I want you to understand and kind of delve into my pictures and my storyboards. And says, Alex, but that's a different method. I know. Mm-hmm. So 2 days later, I get a track. I'm like, oh my God, he knew what was like in my head, like a ghostwriter. So we went on. And every track was unique. I was so impressed by this composer musician. And I'm like, okay, who's this guy, Jonas Hornquist? So I look him up, and this guy's actually endorsed by Fender. Like, oh my goodness, I think I hit the big one.
Really? Oh my God.
So I was like, no way. So I'm like, no way. So what ended up happening was I said, well, look, right now I'm a director. I'm starting out. I'm with Hitman Entertainment Studios. I am the owner. This is right now. I can't really afford you to pay you and this and that. And I said, are you able to help me out to kind of see my vision so I could bring it up to the potential investors, see what I'm trying to work with? I said, can you write 10 free tracks for free? This was crazy. I was like, okay, let's see what happens. 2 days later, two composers, Jonas Hornquist and then his brother also was part of the gig. I believe it was Magnus Hornquist. Yes, at the time his brother was working with them. They were with Sonic Brothers, and and so they were like, okay, we'll do it. So I'm sitting there day 2, day 3, day 4. I was like, nah, okay, here's the next track. And then I'm like, we got to 10 tracks. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
So I'm calling one of my producers I know in Phoenix, Arizona. And I said, listen, Ruben, and he works for Sun Studios. I said, Ruben, this is crazy. He goes, how'd you do that? So I said, there's obviously something here that people are liking this stuff. Because let me tell you something. My father, oh my goodness, he is hard as a steel army of warriors. So what I mean by that is, I said, let me try this on my father. So my dad's like, this is impressive. How did you do this? Like, did you show him any videos? So we kind of got to talking. We became really good friends. And we were working over the internet. I barely spoke Sweden, so I used Google Translator. Oh, it was so hilarious. And then I was like, he was talking English, so-and-so, this and that. But the solid thing is we had a determination of communication. We had that bond. I said, Alex, I see your vision. I see what you're trying to do. And I'm like, okay. And then I sat there and I started writing the script for Legend of a Hitman more and more and more. And I'm like, well, it's like I write this stuff. I show it to Jonas, the composer, saying, but how long did it take you to write you? Like 5 minutes.
Wow.
No way. You're lying.
5 minutes?
Like,
it generally takes about 20 minutes on most projects. I guess the question is, how did he do that?
How did it write? And so I was sitting there. I said, Jonas, are you sure you like this? He goes, yeah, you wrote this in 5 minutes. So I'm like, okay, let me try it from another friend. Let me try it from another friend, another producer. And then one of the producers that I met, he's saying, okay, Alex, you need to stop. You write something, people liking it. And I said this to myself, okay, now the end goal is to complete what I'm trying to finish, what I started. Legend of a Hitman, the film is obviously, it has a lot of base life realistic scenarios. It will keep you guessing. It will keep you twisting. It will keep you, you're just constantly stressed. Like you're constantly good stressed, but you're like at the edge of your seat. Mm-hmm. So it's a 90-minute show. I didn't want to make it too long for the film. And like I said, I put those two trailers together. And now when I've done that, it's like more investors are interested. But to make something like this as a production, you need at least, you're talking about $250K, which can be accomplished. Mm-hmm. So, but that's how we kind of got acquainted. And then, me and the composer worked for about a year and a half for the soundtrack. And I was on because he was like, well, Alex, can I get royalties? I said, well, Hitman Entertainment Studios works different on the contract, so we own all the rights to the soundtrack. Mm-hmm. It was just amazing. I finally said to myself, I found what I'm good at, but also passionate. Because in this business, you cannot be, how much you're going to pay me? How much you have to be very passionate. You have to give your blood, sweat, and tears. And people are going to see that through you. So, you know what, you're very ambitious. I could feel that energy. It's like, it's like the adrenaline. It's pumping throughout you. A lot of the people that I meet, a lot of the actors that I meet, I try to tell them, look, why do you want to do this? Or, sometimes when you look at their demo reels or they go to companies, submit to the most expensive production company, it's not so much of the production company, just the actor does not have the capability of acting. Mm-hmm. A lot of people say, look, I can take schooling, I can take direction. In reality, you either have it or you don't.
Right.
As a director, for an example, if I'm going to present you a trailer in a film, I have only about 20 seconds to interest you to keep watching. It is a difficult task. Sometimes I was at the studios. We'd get on Skype with Jonas, and I said, Jonas, okay, I want you to kind of do this for this track. And that sounds ridiculous, and we're laughing over Skype, you know. So he would go back, and he said, Alex, you know, I recorded everything you said, and I put this for you. He goes, have you ever been a musician? No. I don't know how to write music. So we became that good of bond. You know, I had somebody that believed in me and took a chance on me. And when we started talking and getting to know more each other, business professional level, and he's like, I see your vision. I see why you wanted to do things different and just kind of throw it out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a real... Yes, go ahead.
Now, how do you make yourself different from your typical Hollywood directors or Hollywood studios? It's like you talk about different. I like to hear more about exclusively how else, what makes you different. I like what you have and everything else. And, of course, I'm thinking about that 20 seconds. I think to myself, in this world.
I'll tell you. So this is how I mean about different. First of all, I don't affiliate myself with any studios. I don't follow any of the core as far as in the entertainment industry like SAG or FICOR or union, non-union. I have a one base structure. So if you're coming in for an audition, let's just say you're an actor, I'm going to base on the character that's sketched out. I'm going to base on your acting abilities as far as your voice. You must have a tone, the expressions, the emotions. You have to make it believable for me for 10 seconds. Mm-hmm. And if I think you're pulling that off successfully, then I know that I've got a good actor that has talented capabilities to do so. Because if in the past I worked on projects where directors said, oh, you know, this talent is he's physically good looking, or he's physically good in shape, or they're athletic. You might have an athletic person, but you might not have an actor. So that's pretty much the difference.
And that's very true, too. I've noticed that many of them go after the big names, but then they don't take the time to dig out a diamond in a rough, or it's like you come up with a no-name. It could be a potential, say, like with Brad Pitt or Jennifer Aniston, right, or, say, Gwyneth Paltrow, or, you know, further down the road, say, it could be the next, like, say, Burt Reynolds or Fred Astaire, or, you know, any of the legends, or mm-hmm, even like the next Kirk Douglas for another 100 years.
Yep. So that's what I mean, the difference. Because when I said, like when I even started off, even working in Hollywood, I went to a studio. This was actually my first unpaid gig. I went to a studio. I had this one director. He was talented, really smart guy. In fact, he was frustrated because he was getting people that couldn't do like a trailer voiceover.
Oh, really?
So I was sitting there, and he said, okay. I was like, who are you? I was like, I'd like to try to do a voiceover for you. Do director and an actor. He's like, yeah, whatever, just like everybody else. Listen, you got 2 seconds. If you can't impress me, please leave. Uh-huh. So, you know, I didn't budge. I didn't budge and argue with him. The best thing is to keep professional.
Right.
So
and just tell him, in this world.
Well, I'm going to do that for you right now, so like a kind of demonstration. And so I went into the studios. He closed the door. There's the engineers. They're sitting, and they're like, okay, let me know when you're ready for the cue. And I'm like, can I try something different? Can I just read the lines and just kind of read it on my mind? He's like, yeah, sure, whatever. Just hurry up, because I know we're probably going to kick you. We're going to put you out the door.
Hey, why not?
So here comes, they start the recording, and I'm like, okay, let's go for it. So I'm like, this summer, if you think you've seen the best movie yet, guess again. So he was like, wow. I was like, can you do that again? So, you know, and I said, well, how did you do that? I said, well, you know, it's just, he goes, you probably perfected that. I was like, no. It's just, you know, I had a little script. I mean, you've got the great voiceover, Don LaFontaine, which is a great legend, mm-hmm, but, you know, and I just went in, I was like, okay, let me try this. I saw this newspaper ad. I'm going to go in there. So you're kind of like, and I'm like reading all these films that he has in mind for the voiceover. So you're just kind of like, Linda Hamilton, The Terminator, coming soon. So
Arch to the Beast, I'll be back.
Like, you know, so we were just kind of laughing. So that's where I kind of got from my foot in the door. Sometimes I'd go with the directors or go to studios. They're saying, Alex, you know, we can't pay you that much. I was like, oh, I'm not looking for money. I'm looking for a solid networking. Mm-hmm. What I've learned in Hollywood was that is I wanted to have a team who was going to be the exact of me as a Hitman Entertainment Studios team. Mm-hmm. And that's what I wanted to have. Because today's films, honestly, Hollywood's like running out of ideas. They're going to make this new movie with Robert Pattinson, for an example, Batman. I'm like,
oh my gosh, how many Batmans have we seen? Is like, not counting the Adam, not the Adam West and Burt Ward versions. It's like 5, 6, 7, and of course, I was talking to this to my family the other day. It's like, a brand new Three Musketeers. Like, didn't they have a remake of it maybe 2-3 years ago? Or Alice? No, was it Hansel and Gretel? It's like, how many remakes are there? Or, going back to Three Musketeers, somebody asked me, which version do you like? The original with Errol Flynn, the swashbuckler. That is my favorite. It's like, you're right. How many versions can you take of a certain thing? Or even like with Disney, it's like, they're coming out with like what was like the real live or real animation or something. It's like, how many remakes are going to have of that? You're right. But yeah, it's like something different and something unique, we should have. We'll talk more about that. We'll talk about how he came to America. And yes, we'll talk about more about Legend of a Hitman. But first, listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking our budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition way. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on themikewagnershow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/the Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with actor, director, and the owner of Hitman Entertainment Studios, Alex Milani, here on the Mike Wagner Show, from Italy over to America. And of course, we talked about his beginnings, talk about Legend of a Hitman, what makes him different. And coming to America, tell us, when did you arrive in America and how old were you at the time as well?
So, perfect. So this is how it was pretty much. I was 9 years old. There was a foreign exchange student program. So I'm like, okay, how's this going to work? You're 9-year-old kid, and your parents are like, well, sweetie, we need you to go here and there. But, you're going to be with a good family. We actually, they flew out there. They've met us and this and that. So it's like, it was a couple. I was like, okay, well, all right. So I first fly out to New York. So I'm there. It's kind of, I'm calling my mom, hey, I'm okay. Everything is great. I settled down. I was like, okay, couple months, and then it's like, all right, cool. This is actually not bad. And then, as everything in Europe was going down, obviously, there was still communism there. There were still hard times to live in Europe. Everything was changing the world. My folks were at the verge where they needed to kind of get out, pretty much where they at. So obviously, you applied for the green card. There was such a long waiting time. At the time, I was learning English, going to school. They come to America. Everybody's living in New York. Then we lived a little bit in Los Angeles. Then we came to Phoenix. Then we went to Florida. And then it's finally, okay, I'll just be in LA. Now they're in Phoenix, so we could kind of go back and forth. I guess to put it this way, my folks, made the right choice to come to America for better opportunities. Obviously, this country is practically, if you want to achieve something, and it's freedom. Who doesn't want freedom?
Exactly.
And I don't think I ever got the opportunities to actually be a director if I would have stayed in Italy or any other country. But that's how I pretty much came to the United States. Yes, it was a little bit, how you say, as a child, it's kind of a little bit frightening because you're like, oh my goodness, I'm going to another country. I don't know these
culture
people,
shock,
but,
yes. Culture shock.
So yeah, that's pretty much how it all happened. And then, finally, became a citizen of the United States. And, just I was like saying to myself, well, okay, at the age 16, 17, I better figure out what I need to do, and I better make sure that I'm good at something, and not just do it because it's either going to make me a lot of money or not. Yes, we all got to pay the bills, but at the same time, you want to make sure you make your presence to be well known. What you're doing is liked by a lot of individuals. Mm-hmm. So that's practically how I came to the United States.
That is fantastic. 9 years old, and generally, a lot of schools require students to be about, 13, 14, 15, 16, 14, somewhere around there. Yeah, it's like, age 9, so it's like, that is amazing. I mean, checking things out from a 9-year-old point of view, it's like, I'd be like, God, help me come home. Most 9-year-olds would be like that, too. And, of course, just another thing, too, that who are some of your favorite actors and actresses and movies growing up, in Italy and then coming to America? Who are some of your favorites?
I have a lot of good actors that are my favorite. One of my favorites is Jean-Claude Van Damme. When I was in my 20s, I first time saw the movie Nowhere to Run, and the way it was done, I thought that was his best dramatic role, considering that he's an action star. Mm-hmm. And it kind of moved me in the way it's like, you know what? I wanted to make films like that, but a little bit more, intensifying, it just grabs you completely to the end.
Right.
A lot of my favorite actors, obviously we got from Italy, Sophia Loren, obviously probably the most beautiful woman in the world.
No question. Even at 80 years old, there's a lot of men that are simply having eyes on almost 24/7, 365. No question about it.
Exactly. I think Arnold Schwarzenegger, I look at him as a good example who came from nowhere. A lot of other actors that I like Helen Mirren. She's good. There was a new actress that she just made a movie called Anna. She was a supermodel. I think it's Sasha Luss. She did a pretty good job. Consider that she didn't come from an acting background, but she came in able to pull it off, do her own stunts. The other actors that I like, I think Rachel McAdams is one of those two. I think she's more into kind of dramatic roles. Some of the funny actors that I like, Vince Vaughn, you got Owen Wilson, Adam Sandler when he used to make those great footballs, especially like those football movies like The Waterboy.
Oh, that was my favorite, and I think he was in Longest Yard, a remake of Burt Reynolds. That's still my favorite. Yeah, I think I broke his freaking neck. We think he broke his freaking neck. They think he broke his freaking neck. He did break his freaking neck.
But mostly, I like Harrison Ford. I think Harrison Ford's good. I liked Carrie Fisher, I think, and there's so many just to list out there. But you've got also international, like you said. I like the guy who played Romeo Must Die. I think I keep forgetting his name, but Jet Li. There he is. Yeah, Jet Li. So Jet Li, Donnie Yen, obviously Chow Yun-fat. So you've got a lot of good international stars.
That is amazing. Just a smorgasbord of talent out there that really influenced you and made you the way you are. Now, how about your favorite directors when it comes to film? Who did you like? Yes. Mm-hmm.
So I love James Cameron work. When I first got to watch Avatar, it was amazing. John Carpenter's, I think my favorite film was The Vampires. That's probably it. Quentin Tarantino, he's got some good ones out there. I think I'll give credit to Ben Affleck. He made one great film as a director. It's called Live by the Night. Mm-hmm. It was like a mobster film. I thought he did a pretty good job. I was like, wow. So, and then, of course, you got John Hughes, which is no longer with us. So he was one of the good directors. I'm sure you've seen Ferris Bueller. I'm pretty sure everybody saw that film.
Oh yeah, I mean a child of the '80s, or should we say a teenager? Everybody had to watch Ferris Bueller's Days Off, or at least one of the Brat Pack films. Breakfast Club had to be my favorite among the Brat Packs.
Yes, but mostly a lot of directors. John Woo. I don't know if you're familiar with John Woo. He's an international director as well, but there's just so many to list out there, but mostly James Cameron, Quentin Tarantino, John Carpenter's, And just the list is endless, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like you got a really good grip on everything as well, too. And you talked about you enjoy some comedies and comedians as well, too. And especially when you get into genres, like, say, with drama, suspense, and all this intense. And any plans of doing like a film on comedy?
I was approached by that many times. I think in the future, it's possible. I was approached by that. In fact, I'll just say this now because obviously it's going to get out there regardless. I met with one of the directors a few months ago. He had a similar script to American Pie, but it was much more funnier. And I'm like, this is crazy. I mean, did you steal this? He goes, no. And I'm like, this is crazy. And he had all the storyboards. I'm like, this is going to be so funny. I mean, it's not even fair. You can't even watch this yet, So, comedy, I was recently approached and asked if I would be a part of a film. Now, I don't know if you saw it. I mean, like I said, I saw this film only once in the theater, Meet Joe Black. And I thought it had a great acting there. You've got, what's his name, Brad Pitt there. You've got like Claire Forlani. You've got Anthony Hopkins. And it was just Jeffrey Tambor, well put together cast. And it was just amazing. It was like 3 hours because I was like, I never go watch a 3-hour movie. So I'm sitting there, it just kind of like sucks you in. Like, wow. So it's mostly dramatic and mostly like, okay, you know what? Here's death. This is the time I have. He's going to take me, so I better spend some time with my family, all that kind of good stuff. So he tries to make it right by seeing the bigger picture. I am only limited on time. Mm-hmm. So
it sounds like you got the potential to do some comedy as well, too. We'll talk about some of your upcoming works. We'll continue with Legend of a Hitman and more. But first, listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on themikewagnershow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/the Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with actor, director, the very multi-talented Alex Milani here on the Mike Wagner Show. Also the owner of Hitman Entertainment Studios.com. We talked about his background coming to America, some of his favorites, his biggest influences, and we'll continue talking about Legend of a Hitman. And of course, you can just summarize once again what's that about and when do we expect Legend of a Hitman to be released and where can we find it?
So Legend of a Hitman can be found on legendofahitman.com. The website is present now. We'll be adding more elements to it, widgets and gadgets, so you could always find out information, the updates. The initial goal, we want to release it November 26th of 2021, but we're mostly right now seeing pretty much what potential investors can come on board, because it's just the time that we need the right investors to make sure that the production will be properly, first of all, funded. And as when you're making a film, sometimes you could have backdraws. What I mean by that is, you could say this date and then it moves to a later date, but that's the estimated time. And of course, we always have stuff definitely updated on the site. A little bit about the film, I'll tell you. It's pretty simple. Legend of a Hitman, pretty much, it deals with a young boy. His father wasn't there for them. His mother was pretty much call girl for a big-time mobster, Frank Mariani, which pretty much is the biggest mobster in town. So what ends up happening, she has to make ends meet to support her only son, and when she passes away, unfortunately, the main character just runs away pretty much from everything that's been going on in his life. So he starts his life practically by becoming a thief, stealing stuff to survive on the streets. And luckily, luck by his side, you have a big-time mobster Frank Mariani just sees the boy stealing. He's saying, "You remember so-and-so? I was your mother's so-and-so. I'm related to you. I'm your family. Been looking for you." So Frank sees the potential. Frank wants to get the next best person to do his dirty jobs. Mm-hmm. So what ends up happening, the main character believes Frank is a family member. He grows up. Frank teaches him all the assassin to be. And what ends up happening, the main character does all his work and his dirty jobs and deeds. But when the business goes sour with Frank and his other partnership, which the main character meets his future wife-to-be, things go the opposite. And Frank is on the hunt to kill the boy that he took in.
Wow.
So now you have the main character trying to protect his wife, his family, and practically bring Frank down. What Frank doesn't realize is what he put his teachings into the main character in this film, and what he brought him into, and he made him this lethal assassin. He made one big mistake. He taught him really well, and everybody's going to send him out there, whether to assassinate him, kill him. They will all fail in the end. But here's the thing, in the ending of the film, I'm going to leave it with that, is that you're not going to see what's going to happen. You're going to think this is going to end one way, it's going to end the other way. Mm-hmm. I'll just leave it at that.
That's perfect, too. And where can we see Legend of a Hitman?
So Legend of Hitman, as far as for the film, or just the actual trailer that you're referring to?
We're referring to the film. The trailer, you can tell us as well, too. First the trailer, then the film.
So the trailer like I said, the film you could see will be on legendofahitman.com. We'll have once it's all fully completed and done, it will be uploaded to our site, and you're more than welcome to watch it. Of course, then we will also put it on Amazon. We'll have it on YouTube, but mostly will be premiered in a few of the states. And but it will be available for online to view it practically whenever you want to. But YouTube, Amazon, a lot of it's going to be also featuring Comic-Con, so you're more than welcome. It'll probably play at your local theater, but mostly anything that has with VMU, anything as far as independent filmmakers, it will be out there.
That's fantastic. We're looking forward to it as well, too. And what other films do you have coming up for 2020, and what are your future plans for 2020 and beyond?
I hope where I'm kind of looking from that is my future plans. Definitely want to make other more films after Legend of a Hitman. We have a film that's coming out a couple years later, which is after Legend of a Hitman. It's called The Last Ticket. Kind of like you've seen the movie The Commuter, but a little bit way different. We're working on also in the future, we have a film that we're kind of talking about that we want to do, something a little bit kind of like a Musketeer film. It's pretty much the King and the Musketeer, practically the Musketeer who will defy the King. So, so it'll be more intense. We have underworld creatures that will be working. We have the Magician. It's just so many projects right now that we're considering to definitely to push through as the years come through us in 2020 and so on. But mostly right now we're just focusing to finish Legend of Hitman and bring it to where we want it to be seen all over the world, hopefully.
the King of Musketeer, that sounds very interesting. All for one and one for all? Is D'Artagnan involved in this? So, is he really the King of the Musketeer or what?
Well, as you say, it actually, The King of the Musketeer is a film about how the king will mistreat the queen, and the musketeer will fall in love with the queen, and the musketeer will defy the king to bring him down his throne. It is so action-packed. No, it's not more like a D'Artagnan thing. It's practically one musketeer fighting against practically the greater glory of the kingdom. I should say like that. A lot of action scenes, lots of suspenseful scenes there, but I'm sure that whoever gets the role as an actor, a future actor, that they'll definitely have a lot to work to do and actually to accomplish to be as the musketeer, because there will be a quite extensive schooling involved to do that type of scenery.
That is amazing. I'm looking forward to this. You've been in business for 7 years. You've had 10 awards. And tell us about some of the awards you've won.
So some of the awards pretty much basically I've got is mostly just recognitions, Director of the Year or Film Appreciation of the Year. Practically, you base your ideas, you go to these board panels. Pretty much the community gets to know you and they award you for what you're trying to accomplish as a passionate director. Some of them are awards that I won. I worked in some different short films with other directors. Pretty much, who was the director for, who was the assistant director, and so I always make sure the guy takes the credit, like, yeah, I was the assistant director and this and that. But mostly the awards is practically for a different accomplishment in filming, and awards for film as far as, shorts. Nothing yet as a full-length feature film that I work with other directors, but mostly it's just shorts.
That is amazing, and I can see you winning a number of awards with Legend of a Hitman, The Last Ticket, The King of Musketeers, and more. Do us a favor, keep this up to date. You're keeping me on the edge right here, being very different, and this is just fantastic. We're here with Alex Milani, actor, director, and owner of Hitman Entertainment Studios here on The Mike Wagner Show. And before we go, Alex, we'd love to have you back on. In 2020, you've been fantastic. Who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
My biggest influence in my career?
Mm-hmm.
Who do I consider?
Yes.
Well, I would say my dad. I think my dad came from a, very difficult family, and my dad was the type of person who would never give up on anything. So I kind of took it as a young age, just kind of, follow my dad's core values. But as my father said, if you start something and if the music and instruments start playing and everybody's liking the tune, then you better finish that tune, make sure that it plays well through the end. Mm-hmm. And so that kind of stuck with me.
I've never heard that advice before, but that is fantastic. And I was going to ask you for the best advice, and perhaps you probably give it unless you've got some best advice to give.
The best advice as far as for an actor or as far as to get into this industry, or what kind of advice do you want me to kind of give? Just as far as getting into the entertainment industry, or becoming a director or an actor?
I would say the industry in general. Actor, director, take your pick. Be different. It's okay.
Okay. So the one thing I would tell, if you're trying to be as a director or an actor, or let's say singer or an entertainer, the number one thing you need to understand, especially when you are working with somebody who's first of all professional, who's recognized, work with the person and listen to their critiques, their, a lot of people, sometimes people, they get defensive. They're like, well, you don't know what you're talking about. My mom said I was great, but you need to listen. You come to somebody, they're doing this and they've been doing this, and that's what people are liking it. A lot of the times you're going to work with the directors that will just have you come in and audition, and you might not get the audition. I've heard the saying is, well, it just wasn't meant to be. In reality, it's not meant to be if this career is not meant to be for you. But the only advice I'll give it, just to kind of make it simple, as far as being an entertainer, I look at it, talent, this is my definition of talent. You either have it or you don't. I don't consider any schools or acting coaches could make it better. You have about 10 seconds to impress the director of the studio, or whether the producer or the musician or whoever you're going to be working with, to see if you have natural ability or the talent. Mm-hmm. Because anybody can really come in and say, hey, Mike, you know what? I'm talented. Well, sure, Alex. Can you show me your trailer?
or in other words, prove it.
Prove it, right. So I always say, be humble, be polite, and be respectful. Let someone critique your work. And that's how you know you're going to make it or not. But never, ever be on a defensive mode. Respect someone's opinion. Thank them for your time. And just move on and pursue something that you're actually going to be good at. Because, like I said, I'm not doing this for the fame or want to be famous. This is just my calling. And I've tried this on numerous amount of people, obviously on you. When I sent the trailer, I was like, well, let's see what Mr. Wagner says, And next thing I was like, okay, I got a show. Okay, cool.
And can I tell you my thoughts on the trailer right now?
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Fantastic. That's what I got to say about it. Fantastic. I love it.
I appreciate your honest comments. Yes, I always tell people, please be truthful about it. What did you like? What did you not like? But sometimes people say, hey, I like the trailer number 1 better. I like trailer number 2. Okay, no problem. I made 2 versions because you always want to give them options. So the investors have what they might like this one, they might like that one. But I really appreciate your comments. I'm doing this through my heart. I'm a very passionate director. I'm doing this through my heart, and I really appreciate giving me the opportunity to interview with you and let this be heard. And what I'm trying to accomplish is a different statement. It's like I said, every director, every entertainer, whether it could be actor, singer, I think everybody's got a different mission. The end goal is you want to make something that will be remembered for a lifetime, not just to put a DVD or a music CD on a shelf, because anybody can do that now.
Right, exactly. And, of course, I think your advice is fantastic. You're very unique, and I really appreciate your being different, which is great. And I'm still at the edge of my seat, by the way. Alex Milani, actor, director, and owner of Hitman Entertainment Studios, thank you very much for your time. And before we go here, tell us about your upcoming projects, your website, how do people contact you, and where can people check out your movies?
So the direct contact, you can go to hitmanentertainmentstudios.com. You'll get all the latest updates. If you're looking to go for Legend of a Hitman, that'll also be on the site there. Or you could just go to direct-to-legendofahitman.com. You can contact me on Facebook. You can email me through Hitman Entertainment Studios. And you can also contact me through LinkedIn. So there's many, many methods where you could contact me, and I would love to chat with you.
Sounds great. Alex, just want to say a big thank you for your time. You've been fantastic. I learned a lot from you. I'm still at the edge of my seat, and I'd like to have you back on sometime in 2020 and beyond. Do us a favor. Keep this up to date. We love to have you back, and keep us on the edge of our seats.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks for listening to The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.